Welcome back to Coffee Break with SVEDA. My name is Mariah. I am your host. This week, I am joined by Corey, Kratcha, and Steve Kent. Thank you both for being here.
Thank you.
Glad to be here.
All right, Corey, let's start with you. Tell us what your occupation is or what you do.
I am the co-founder and CEO of a company called C2 Renew. And what we do at C2 Renew is we manufacture biocomposites. Essentially what that is we take different waste streams, whether they be agricultural waste products or they be more unique ones like coffee waste, beer waste, upcycled garbage. We hybridize those with different types of resins. So whether they're petroleum-based, recycled petroleum-based, or they're 100% bio-based, and through that hybridization process is the biocomposite. We then send that to injection molders and extruders to make all kinds of products.
Okay, and myself, I'm retired. I retired from the seed industry 3 years ago, and where I specialized in sunflower seeds. And currently I have a small consulting business back into the seed industry, but it's very part-time.
So how I got started is my co-founder is a professor at NDSU. He was working on developing composites for lightweighting different applications. We had something we were working on. I had reached out to him and asked him if it was feasible to do that with the type of work he was doing. Unfortunately, it was not. The fortunate part was he showed me what he was working on. It was really intriguing. And so he and I got together to actually spin that technology out of the university as research and commercialize it into a business. And so that's how we got started in what we do.
What value does SVEDA bring to our community? What does SVEDA offer to entrepreneurs or business owners in our community?
For me, I think SVEDA is all about connecting current businesses and ideas for new business to resources. And if we can make those connections, we feel we can help businesses either become more successful or possibly help a startup business get going.
Yeah, I'd say what SVEDA does for the community is exactly kind of what Steve alluded to. It helps to connect, whether it be new businesses or existing businesses, to help give them the resources and the tools they need to either start their business, grow their business, or innovate into new ideas. So I joined SVEDA board of directors at the inception. So initially got involved a little bit during some of the early planning on what it would look like to have sort of a joint economic development, and then was asked to continue on once they founded the organization.
So I joined SVEDA at the inception of the organization. Felt like it was an opportunity to give back to the community. I like what SVEDA is doing. It's taking local resources and reinvesting in ideas that will help us become more successful.
How else are you involved in the community?
In my younger years, I was involved in coaching a lot of youth sports. Today, I'm more involved in church committees, and I also serve on the board of directors for West Central Initiative. It's a planning and philanthropy organization that covers a 9-county area in western Minnesota.
Much like Steve, I'm involved in the community through youth athletics. So I have 2 sons that play baseball, football, and basketball. And so often I get looped in and roped into coaching those sports. And so that's my primary involvement in the community. I'm fortunate enough to be married to a school teacher. And so she's very active in the community through those things and the Education Foundation. So that's, we have more of a family commitment than myself individually.
That's great. Steve, what sports did you coach?
Both on the boys and girls side, baseball, football, basketball. In my family, we had 2 children of each, 2 girls and 2 boys, and so I got involved actively in both.
Nice. Are you guys both from the area of Richland and Wilkin County?
So for me, I grew up in Morris, Minnesota, which is an hour south of here. I have spent pretty much most of my adult life, though, in the Breckenridge, Wahpeton area.
So I grew up west of Fargo and moved to Breckenridge when my wife got her teaching job here albeit though I do have ties to the area. My parents grew up in Wahpeton, lived here until they were 18. My grandpa still lives in Wahpeton. So the connection to Richland County has been since my parents were kids. And so we spent a lot of time visiting and spending time in Breckenridge, Wahpeton as kids.
What is the most rewarding part of being on the SVEDA board?
I think the most rewarding part of being on the board is the opportunities to help people succeed, whether it be like I had mentioned earlier, new businesses or existing businesses, helping them to succeed and giving them the tools that they need, whether they be leadership advice through our executive director Justin, or it be through advice from the board, or it be through programs that we have or that we help to provide to these different companies. The other thing is to hear and learn about new businesses that come to the area or start. Having been an entrepreneur myself, having started a business, I get excited to learn and hear about those things within our community.
And I agree with Corey. I think it's a lot about helping current businesses become more successful, connecting the dots again so they have all the resources they need to do that. New business startups, a lot of people think that's our highest priority, but actually our main objective is to help current businesses become more successful.
With that being said, why is Breckenridge or even Wilkin and Richland County a great place to do business?
I think there's two things. One is I think there's a family feel to business in our area, and I think that's really important. I think employers care about their employees. They do family things together. The other part of it is I think there's kind of the working hard, playing hard attitude in business in our area. And I think that's an important balance that businesses need to have.
I would agree. I think the benefit of is the family dynamic or the small community atmosphere that lends itself to this. I think that's what helps and is exciting about these opportunities, is because we can be collegial and we can come together and we can work together given the size of the communities.
So given that you both have experience in this area, what piece of advice do you have for an entrepreneur, or what quality do you think an entrepreneur should have?
My advice is develop thick skin early on. Not everything you do is going to be perfect, and you're going to make mistakes, and there's going to be criticisms and critiques. And so have the ability to absorb those and then learn from them and move on. I think that's a primary criteria. You're not gonna do everything right. You're not gonna please everybody. And so having that self-awareness to be able to sort of move past that and work forward. The other thing too is, do something that you're passionate about, and do something that I think brings value to not only the community, but everything at large. So work for something that provides value for more people going forward.
Again, I agree with Corey. Entrepreneurs have to have passion about what they're doing or what they're about to do. And secondly, I think they need to be fearless. They can't be afraid to fail and retry and try it a different way. And then when it gets to the point where they've gotten their business established, I think they need to understand who they are and what they're capable of, and hire people that kind of fill in the blanks to do the things that they don't do very well.
That's great. That's all the questions I have for you guys today. Do you have anything else you'd like to add about SVEDA or about our community?
I think what I like about what SVEDA is doing, it's investing local resources back into our communities and to our counties. And I think that we see our communities investing in ourselves through SVEDA, and SVEDA is making the connections that I think are important to help local businesses thrive and grow.
I think what I would add is don't hesitate to reach out. If you have a question or an idea or a need, SVEDA is here to help. We're there to be a resource to help guide through anything that you may need. And so I would say that's what I would finish with is, if you have questions, if you have thoughts, reach out. We're there to be a resource.